Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News this morning. I am David Opopasile. The headlines: House Committee on Trade, Commerce and Industry assesses the 2017 and 2018 budget implementations in ministries. Academic Staff Union of Universities Owerri Zone calls for adequate funding of universities to avoid truncating education. 15-year-old Ogunwede commits suicide in Delta State. And on the foreign scene, former Pakistan cricket star Khan to be sworn in today as new Pakistan Prime Minister. The details: the State House of Assembly Committee on Trade, Commerce and Industry has pledged to partner the ministry to improve the internally generated revenue of the state. The chairman of the committee, Dr. Pete Ibida, gave the assurance during an oversight visit to the ministry. House of Assembly correspondent Chukwuemeka Modelen was there and now reports.
Dr. Ibida, who led the committee to the ministry, explained that their visit was to carry out their oversight responsibility as enshrined in the Constitution. He also revealed that the exercise would enable them to assess the 2017 and 2018 budget performance of the ministry, ascertain their challenges with a view to profiling solutions. The committee, however, commended the Commissioner for Trade, Commerce and Industry, Dr. Christian Madbuko, for the success he recorded in revenue generation, urging him not to relent. Welcoming the committee, the Commissioner, Dr. Madbuko, appealed to the committee to encourage the ministry by allocating more funds to enable it execute more projects geared towards improving the internally generated revenue of the state. The committee also visited the Anambra State Investment Promotion and Protection Agency, ANSIPA, where the chairman, Dr. Ibida, expressed the commitment of the committee to synergize with the agency to drive the economic blueprint of Governor Willie Obiano for the state. After questions and answers that centered on the challenges of the agency and its 2017 and 2018 budget performance, other members of the committee, Honorable Chidi Udemmado, representing Ihiala constituency, and his Idemili North counterpart, Mrs. Nkoli Mmegwaneze, charged the agency to strive and surpass their previous achievements. Receiving the committee, the managing director and chief executive officer of ANSIPA, Mr. Jide Ikako, informed them that ANSIPA has, through front direct investment and domestic direct investment, attracts external and internal investment to the state. In Oka, Chukwuemeka Modelim, ABS News.
Over 300 persons have been empowered by the member representing Onitsha South Constituency 2 in the State House of Assembly, Honorable Beverly Nkemdichi Bazu, during one of her constituency empowerment programs for 2018. The empowerment program, which calls across youths, men and women from her constituency, respective of party affiliations, was held at her constituency office at Oguta Road, Onitsha. Correspondent Nchideko Koe covered the empowerment program and now reports.
21 over 21
That was the atmosphere at the arena as people of Onitsha South Constituency 2 receive empowerment items worth over 8 million naira from the House member aimed at helping them become self-reliant and employers of labor. The empowerment items include 2 cars, gas cookers, ovens, deep freezer, grinding engines and grinders, dryers, hair washing basins, barbing kits, health kits, sewing machines, and lots more, while 210 people received cash empowerment of 150 and 30,000 naira respectively. Addressing the gathering, Honorable Nkemdichi Bazu, who assured her readiness to sustain the tempo, noted that she is toeing the path of Governor Willie Obiano and his wife Osodieme in helping people, adding that the empowerment program is meant for the constituents to better their lives, urging them to make good use of the opportunity.
Empowerment to people is something I do all the time. By something called constituency empowerment, that means I'm empowering everybody in my constituency. We go from ward to ward and collect names of people that need help or that need to be empowered. And from there, we go on. It's something I've done before. My first time I gave the youth motorcycle. The first time they've experienced the dividends of democracy. So I'm very glad to be doing this. It's nothing new. They are used to it.
In their separate speeches, the National Organizing Secretary, All Progressives Grand Alliance, ABGA, Chief Mike Quento, and the Zonal Chairman, ABGA, Anambra North Senatorial District, Chief Chinedu Nnatuanya, commended Honorable Nkemdiche Ikpeazu for carrying the people of her constituency along.
Therefore, even if only I don't congestion project. No project government. And I gave them power. I was also the youth. But the middle class, but the old music and
it makes me proud to witness this kind of occasion. My house member, spending a lot of money to empower the party people, not just Africa, but across the political parties and the
The Transition Committee Chairman for Onitsha South, Honorable Emeka Asanya, and the Chairman of Odakpo Landlords Association, Chief Anthony Ndubizu, maintained that Honorable Nkemdiche Ikpeazu has been giving the people quality representation, urging her to sustain the tempo. Speaker after speaker at the empowerment program eulogized the lawmaker for her contributions to the people of the constituency and prayed God to bless her abundantly.
I'm part of what we have accomplished either as a member of Parliament and also in her attempt to reach out to empower our constituency. She has done fabulously well and I'm proud of her.
Ebube Chineke kuchiri Damascus ya kuchie ya n'ezinụlọ ya ajọ mmụọ ma ajọ mmadụ ọbụla sịrị aka ọjọọ n'ebe ọ dị arrested by the fire of God.
Distribution of the items formed the highlights of the event. Njideka Okoye, ABS News.
The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU Owerri Zone, has called for adequate funding of universities to reverse the deplorable condition of most institutions in the country. In a press conference in Awka, the zonal coordinator of the union, Comrade Uzo Onyedinamma, called on stakeholders to call the proprietors of Ladoka Akintola University of Technology, LAUTECH, Oyo State to intervene immediately and take the pathetic funding crisis in this institution and improve the welfare of staff and students to avoid truncating the future of university education. Paul Ezoke has the details.
Comrade Onyedinamma lamented that LAUTECH has continued to have problems of poor funding since 2013 due to failure of Osun and Oyo state governments who jointly own the university to take responsibility of funding the institution. He noted that the university has not received subvention for a long time, depending solely on funds from tuition, and is presently owing months of salary and academic allowances arrears, where there is no evidence of infrastructural development. The union leader noted that despite several visitation panels and recommendations, the proprietors of the university have not implemented any of the recommendations.
LAUTECH has continued to have problems of very poor funding since 2013 due to the failure of the owner state governments of Oyo and Osun to take responsibility to adequately fund that university. That university currently owes staff 10 months salary arrears. For long, that university has not received any subvention from the owner states and has depended solely on funds from tuition.
He called on the state houses of assembly of the states to streamline the ownership status and provide permanent solution to the challenge of gross underfunding. Comrade Onyedinamma explained that what affects a branch of ASU affects the entire union and made it clear that while they are exploring options of peaceful resolution, the union will not hesitate to back the LACTEP branch to embark on total and indefinite industrial action as a last resort. Academic Staff Union of Universities, Owerri Zone, comprises of 5 universities in Anambra, Imo, and Abia states. In Awka, Paul Ezoke, ABS News.
Over 800 persons from Awka North and Njikoka council areas have received household and educational items from the wife of the state governor, Chief Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano. The gifts, which were presented to widows, aged women, indigent women and children, as well as the physically challenged, was a supplementary benefit of the 2018 community empowerment tours of the 21 council areas of the state. Correspondent Dan Ezigwe takes the story from here.
Among the items presented by Chief Mrs. Obiano, who was represented by the wife of the Deputy Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Mrs. Sylvia Oseke, were bags of rice, wrappers, cash and educational materials, including school bags, exercise books and math sets. A cross-section of the beneficiaries who bared their elation while receiving the items said the governor's wife's kind-heartedness towards the poor will be rewarded by God and history. They prayed God to enrich Chief Mrs. Obiano's pockets of kindness, adding that her maternal love is worth emulating. In her address, the governor's wife thanked the council areas for remaining supportive of the goals and initiatives of the current administration.
The old beneficiaries of your laudable economic empowerment program are recording remarkable progress in your economic endeavors. Now, please permit me to use this wonderful opportunity to express our profound gratitude to our working governor, Chief Dr. Willie Obiano, for his developmental strides in our state and Awka North in particular.
Earlier in their separate opening remarks, the Transition Committee Chairman of Awka North, Chief Emeka Onwuzuka, and his Njikoka counterpart, Honorable George Ozo, noted that Chief Mrs. Obiano's continuous reach out to the less privileged is an unarguable sign of motherly love and compassionate care.
The wife of the governor, Chief Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, is a motherless woman. She was sent to come and look after us. She's wonderful. She's an incomparable woman. I don't think she's too in Nigeria. She loves her people, her children. In fact, she loves Anambarians. What she's doing, I've never seen it since the inception of Anambra State Government.
I'm trying to reach out to very down. She has over the years shown that she is a mother, a committed mother at that. Helping out those who are very poor, down to less privileged in society.
On their part, the member representing Awka North at the State House of Assembly, Chief Boniface Okonkwo, member representing Njikoka 1 constituency, Dr. Timothy Ifediorama, and his Njikoka 2 counterpart, Chief Peter Ibida, said the event portrays a definite picture of people-oriented objectives. From Njikoka Council Headquarters, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
Community development initiative of Enugu community is being demonstrated in the ongoing free holiday classes for over 600 primary and secondary school students of the community and beyond. The traditional ruler of Enugu, Igweraf Epe, who went round the 5 centers to monitor the exercise in company of the President General Chief Boni Ozonkwako, said the initiative is part of the community's efforts at complementing government in education and child development. Correspondent Ejika Bana is on hand with the details.
Igwe said the joy of the exercise is the blend of Enugu children with children from other communities and states across the Federation, which he added creates avenue for integration, while assuring of aiding to drive more support for the project. The traditional ruler applauded the dynamism of the present leadership of the Enugu Development Union under the President General, expressing optimism that next year's long vacation classes will be better, as its benefits are enormous for the children, their parents, and the society at large.
During holidays, if you allow the children roam about, they commit crimes, indecent habits. But if you change them academically, you have succeeded. You will bring them to the path of rectitude.
Speaking, the President General of Enugu Development Union, Chief Boni Ozonkwa, revealed that the project is part of his administration's promise at inception, stressing that the aim is to create a learning environment for the youths to keep them away from social vices that usually happen during the holidays, saying that the curriculum is organized in a way that the students will be taught other aspects, including Igbo customs and traditions, beyond the normal literacy.
We have 3 experts that do that on every Friday. They go to classes, teach them about marriage, culture, institutions in Enugu, the Igwe, the President General, and the relationship of Enugu with the neighboring towns.
The coordinator of the holiday lesson, an employee with the State Post-Primary School Service Commission, Mr. Sochema Wadiobu, pointed out that from experience, some difficult aspects of the school curriculum were identified and addressed by the holiday teachers, expressing optimism that it will be an annual event.
Some of the teachers here pointed it out and developed means that they can be able to understand it. You found out that they meet a lot of friends here who impacted positively on them.
The holiday classes, which will end on first week of September, is concurrently holding at St. Theresa Catholic Church, Emmanuel Anglican Church, Orabuke Central School, St. Anthony's Catholic Church, and the Civic Center, all in Enugu town. The kids were happy to receive the traditional ruler and his team while sharing what they learned from the lessons.
Labor-based. Example, in the olden days, when there is no technology, labors are not divided. Transmission of power, belt drive, gear drive, chain drive.
From Enugu in Njikoka Council area, Ejike Abana, ABS News.
A 15-year-old girl, Ogenewede Michael, has reportedly committed suicide after her parents were said to have reprimanded her for staying out late. Whether, as she was popularly called, a junior secondary school 2 student, was said to have died at a private clinic in town after drinking a substance believed to be insecticide. It was gathered that Whether, who had left home for extramural lessons to close by 6 p.m., did not return home until 9 p.m., a situation that made everyone angry. Her mother chided her and her elder brother threatened to beat her. The teenager was said to have gone to bed in tears that night and was believed to have drunk the insecticide in the morning, which made her to complain of severe stomach ache. That was when her mother perceived the smell of the insecticide from her mouth and raised her alarm. She was later rushed to Sapele Central Hospital, where she was referred to a private clinic in town, where she died in the afternoon. The remains of the deceased has already been handed over to her family for burial, while a source at Sapele Police Station who craved anonymity said the case was not reported at the station. We move to the foreign scene now, where former cricket star Imran Khan is expected to be elected the next Prime Minister of Pakistan shortly in a vote at the National Assembly. His PTI party won the most seats in July elections, setting up Mr. Khan to become Prime Minister with the help of small parties. More than 2 decades after he first entered politics, Mr. Khan, 65, who will be sworn in on Saturday, will inherit a country with a mounting economic crisis and has vowed to create a new Pakistan. The charismatic sports star who captained Pakistan to a World Cup victory in 1992 has long shared his celebrity playboy image and now sees himself as a pious, populist, anti-poverty reformer. He ran on an anti-corruption platform that pledged to improve the lives of country's poor with an Islamic welfare state. Before the election, Mr. Khan noted that his initial focus will be on the economy, calling for mutually beneficial ties with the United States, despite being an outspoken critic of that country's anti-terrorism measures in the region, such as drone strikes. And that is the news. For more on ABS, remember that you can listen to news and programs on ABS 88.5 FM from any part of the world by logging on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. Like us at www.facebook.com/absradiotv. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram, ABS Radio TV. Now, the main points again. House Committee on Trade, Commerce and Industry assessed the 2017 and 18 budget implementations in ministries, said it's enshrined in the Constitution. Academic Staff Union of Universities, or zone, calls for adequate funding of universities to avoid truncating education. 15-year-old Ogenawede commits suicide in Delta State after her parents reprimanded her for staying out late. And on the foreign scene, we brought you the former Pakistan cricket star Khan to be sworn in today as new Pakistan Prime Minister. And that is the end of the news. The Weekend Show returns after now. I am David Opopasele.